set. Oh, hi. Doing out in this mess.
We weren't doing anything. We were just messing.
Must be my imagination.
Can I help you? Hello?
In the quiet stillness of a dense American forest, where sunlight filters softly through towering trees and the air carries a deceptive sense of peace, there exists a place haunted not just by tragedy, but by something far darker, something that refuses to remain buried. This is the world of Friday the 13th, a film that emerged in 1980 and would go on to define an entire era of horror, embedding itself deeply into the cultural psyche and shaping the slasher genre for decades to come. At first glance, it presents a simple premise. A group of young camp counselors arrives at Camp Crystal Lake to prepare it for reopening, unaware that the grounds they walk upon are stained with a violent past. But beneath that simplicity lies a calculated exercise in tension, atmosphere, and primal fear, one that thrives on isolation, vulnerability, and the unsettling idea that danger can lurk just beyond the edge of perception. The film opens not with comfort, but with unease, immediately establishing a tone that refuses to let the viewer relax. The past lingers heavily over Camp Crystal Lake, a place once meant for joy and youthful freedom, now remembered as the site of a young boy's drowning years earlier. That incident, tragic and preventable, becomes the foundation of the film's mythology, whispered about like a curse that never truly faded. Locals speak of the camp in hushed tones, warning outsiders to stay away, as though the land itself rejects human presence. These warnings, of course, go unheeded by the counselors, whose arrival marks the beginning of a slow and inevitable descent into terror. The narrative unfolds with deliberate pacing, allowing the audience to become familiar with the characters before systematically stripping away their sense of safety. Among the ensemble cast is Kevin Bacon, whose portrayal of Jack brings a grounded, relatable energy to the group dynamic. The counselors are not heroic archetypes or exaggerated figures. They are ordinary young people, each carrying their own personalities, ambitions, and flaws. This grounded characterization is crucial, as it amplifies the horror when the violence begins. The audience is not watching distant figures meet their fate, but individuals who feel tangible and real, making each loss resonate more deeply. Behind the camera, the vision of director Sean S. Cunningham is unmistakable. Working with a relatively modest budget, Cunningham approached the film with a keen understanding of suspense and audience psychology. Rather than relying on constant action or excessive exposition, he crafted a slow-burning narrative that builds tension through atmosphere and anticipation. The forest becomes a character in its own right, its vastness and silence creating an oppressive environment where escape feels impossible. The camera often lingers just a moment too long, suggesting that something or someone might be watching, even when nothing is immediately visible. The production itself reflects a resourcefulness born out of necessity. Sean S. Cunningham, who also served as a producer alongside Steve Miner and Alvin Geiler, had to maximize limited resources while still delivering a compelling cinematic experience. This constraint ultimately became a strength, forcing the creative team to focus on mood, pacing, and practical effects rather than spectacle. The result is a film that feels raw and immediate, its imperfections lending authenticity to the terror it depicts. The screenplay, credited to Victor Miller with contributions from Ron Kurz and Sean S. Cunningham, plays a crucial role in shaping the film's structure and tone. Rather than presenting a complex or convoluted plot, it leans into simplicity, using familiar elements to create a framework within which suspense can thrive. The idea of a remote camp, isolated from civilization, populated by a small group of unsuspecting victims is not inherently unique, but the execution transforms it into something iconic. Dialogue is natural and unforced, allowing characters to interact in ways that feel believable, which in turn heightens the impact when those interactions are abruptly cut short by violence. One of the most defining aspects of the film is its approach to perspective. The use of point-of-view shots places the audience in the position of the unseen assailant, creating an unsettling intimacy with the acts of violence. This technique blurs the line between observer and participant, forcing viewers to confront their own role in the unfolding horror. It is a bold stylistic choice that adds a psychological dimension to the film, making it more than just a sequence of events, but an experience that implicates the audience in its darkest moments. The visual storytelling is further enhanced by the work of Barry Abrams, whose use of natural lighting and framing contributes significantly to the film's atmosphere. Daytime scenes carry an undercurrent of unease, as if the brightness itself is a facade, masking the darkness that lies beneath. As night falls, the environment transforms into something far more threatening, shadows stretching and shifting in ways that obscure and disorient. The camera moves with purpose, guiding the viewer's attention while simultaneously withholding crucial information, maintaining a constant sense of uncertainty. Editing, handled by Bill Freda, plays a pivotal role in shaping the film's rhythm. The pacing is carefully calibrated, alternating between moments of calm and sudden bursts of violence. This contrast keeps the audience off balance, never allowing them to settle into a predictable pattern. Cuts are often timed to maximize impact, either by delaying the reveal of a threat or by delivering it with shocking immediacy. The result is a viewing experience that feels both controlled and unpredictable, a delicate balance that is essential to effective horror. Of course, no discussion of the film would be complete without acknowledging the contribution of composer Harry Manfredini, whose score has become synonymous with the franchise. The now iconic ki, 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 ma, ma, ma motif is more than just a piece of music. It is an auditory signal of impending danger, a sound that triggers an almost instinctive response in the audience. Manfredini's use of silence is equally important, allowing tension to build in the absence of sound before punctuating it with sharp, jarring notes. This interplay between sound and silence creates a dynamic auditory landscape that enhances the film's emotional impact. As the story progresses, the sense of isolation becomes increasingly pronounced. The counselors, initially confident and carefree, begin to sense that something is wrong, though they cannot fully grasp the nature of the threat. Communication with the outside world is limited, and attempts to seek help are thwarted, reinforcing the idea that they are completely alone. This isolation is not just physical, but psychological, as fear begins to erode their sense of security and trust. The killings themselves are executed with a level of creativity and intensity that was groundbreaking at the time. Practical effects are used to depict violence in a way that is both shocking and visceral, leaving a lasting impression on the audience. These moments are not gratuitous for the sake of spectacle, but integral to the film's exploration of fear and vulnerability. Each act of violence serves to escalate the tension, pushing the narrative closer to its inevitable climax. What truly sets the film apart, however, is its ability to subvert expectations. As the mystery of the killer's identity unfolds, the audience is led down a path that challenges their assumptions, culminating in a revelation that recontextualizes everything that came before. This twist is not just a narrative gimmick, but a thematic statement, reinforcing the idea that horror can emerge from the most unexpected places. It is a moment that lingers long after the film has ended, inviting viewers to reconsider the events they have witnessed. The legacy of Friday the 13th extends far beyond its initial release. It was not simply a successful film, but a cultural phenomenon that gave rise to an entire franchise and inspired countless imitators. Its influence can be seen in the structure, style, and themes of numerous horror films that followed, many of which sought to replicate its formula with varying degrees of success. Yet few have managed to capture the same balance of simplicity and effectiveness that defines the original. At its core, the film taps into a primal fear of the unknown, the idea that danger can exist just beyond the boundaries of perception. It exploits the vulnerability of being alone in an unfamiliar environment where help is out of reach and trust is a liability. These themes are universal, transcending the specifics of the story to resonate on a deeper level. The forest, the camp, the unseen presence all become symbols of a broader fear, one that is both timeless and deeply ingrained in the human psyche. Even decades after its release, the film retains its power to unsettle and disturb. Advances in technology and changes in audience expectations have altered the landscape of horror, but the fundamental principles that underpin Friday the 13th remain as relevant as ever. Its reliance on atmosphere, character, and psychological tension ensures that it continues to resonate with new generations of viewers, who may find themselves just as captivated and unnerved as audiences did in 1980. The enduring appeal of the film lies not just in its scares, but in its craftsmanship. Every element, from the performances to the technical execution, contributes to a cohesive and immersive experience. It is a testament to what can be achieved with a clear vision and a deep understanding of the genre, proving that effective horror does not require excess, but precision. In the end, Friday the 13th is more than just a film. It is an exploration of fear in its purest form, a reminder that the most terrifying threats are often those we cannot see or fully understand. It invites the audience to step into a world where safety is an illusion, where the past refuses to stay buried, and where every shadow holds the potential for something far more sinister. And as the final moments unfold, leaving behind an echo of uncertainty and dread, it becomes clear that some stories do not truly end. They linger, waiting patiently, much like the darkness that envelops Camp Crystal Lake, ready to claim those who dare to return.